Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I don't know, somehow it feels like maybe the Ripple saga has come or is coming towards an end. And so I wanted to take you back down memory lane and take you through some of the things I've been through, some of the things I've seen. Some of them you may know, some of them you may not. But I want to show you how I got here, what I experienced, what we went through, just some of the things. I'm going to touch on some of them and just kind of relive a little bit of this. I don't think I've done this. The first where this all starts is I don't know, but there's always been rumors that Ripple came from the Grateful Dead song Ripple. Okay, well, what's ironic about that to me is that Ripple also, I don't know if it was a book or an album, or a video, I don't remember, but they had something they put out called A Long Strange Trip, and maybe it was a song too, I don't remember. But that's what this has been, folks. This Ripple, not in a million years would I have thought that the whole Ripple and XRP thing would have turned into what it did, but it did. So I'm going to take you through my journey. My journey started at somewhere in the 2013, late 2013-14 range, back when on CoinMarketCap it was just known as Ripple. And this is when I first discovered Ripple, and I thought there was something different about it. You'll notice there it was at a penny. In this time period, in the months, the 2 or 3 months plus or minus this, it was below pennies. That's where I first got involved in this story. So I'm going to go through and just show you some of the things that have happened along the way. So around this time I discovered it. And then I was following things, and there was a crash in that 2013-14 area. And I thought at the time, okay, well, maybe I was wrong about this whole thing, and the value of what I had crashed and all of that. And then I remember hearing about this somewhere in 2015 about how Ripple had been, the FINCEN had come down and they had fined them $700,000, and there was a criminal or a civil money penalty against Ripple and against this XRP2 and all of this. Okay, and I remember hearing about this, and I remember thinking, oh man, not only was I wrong, whole thing, okay, but I was like, these guys must be shady guys, whatever, the whole thing, okay. So then, and that was around 2015. Somewhere in 2016, I woke up one day and my investment was like, 20 or 30 or 40 times, okay. And then along comes late 2017 when Ripple announced the Ripple Escrow. Now remember, I didn't have a channel by this time, so there was no digital asset investor at all. This is December 7th, 2017. Ripple escrows 55 billion XRP for supply predictability. This is what set in motion the XRP all-time high, all the way into around January 4th, 2018. That is when CoinMarketCap, while we were sleeping one night, I remember it because I remember not being able to believe what the price of XRP was. CoinMarketCap removed the South Korean exchanges from the market cap without telling anyone. So everybody woke up that morning, the price had it looked like the price had crashed, but really they had just stopped figuring in the South Korean prices. But that is what began a downward motion for the value of XRP all the way through 2018. But I didn't know at the time. See, in hindsight, now I know more. Some of the people that are behind CoinMarketCap, we've done some videos on that too. But I didn't know what I know now back then. I didn't know it. I also didn't know that this article that dropped on, I remember seeing this article, February 27th, 2018. Ripple's Chris Larson meet the richest person in cryptocurrency. I did not know at the time, folks, that there was a war. I did not know that the person that wrote this article, Laura Shin, now, after we've uncovered all sorts of other things, appears to be, I don't know for a fact, but appears to be on one side of the war and not Ripple's side. I did not know that that's, in my opinion, the purpose of this article was to throw up red flags about Ripple and to get the attention of people. That's what I believe now. I did not know that at the time, but I remember when it happened. And then right from January and February in 2018 all the way to May, I started following this all the time because remember, we had hit an all-time high for XRP. And I remember this specifically in May 15th, 2018. This is when Snoop Dogg Ripple had an XRP community night in New York City, and Snoop Dogg was the headliner, and he was there. And I remember how sick I was that I couldn't participate in this. And do you know why I couldn't participate in this? Because my channel started in May of 2018. I don't remember the exact day, but it had only been going for a few days. And so there was no way that I could expect an invitation to the XRP community night to meet my idol, Snoop Dogg. Since this time, folks, I then entered the fray. And over this period of time, we watched and reported on thousands and thousands of hours of video of people like David Schwartz and people like Miguel Valles, who at the time back in 2017, he was in charge of XRP markets. We literally combed through every video and every word from everyone that was anywhere involved with Ripple, whether it's Chris Larson and Stefan Thomas in the early days, to Ashish Burla, to back then they had as their chief market strategist Corey Johnson. He was a spokesman who later left. We had Dilip Rao. There were all kinds of old videos of Chris Larson. We've been through all of it. We've shown it all. And then as time went on, more and more people began to get into the influencer side of things and to join into, become fixated on this thing that was Ripple and XRP. And then there were other stories along the way and things that we tied in. This is one of the more fascinating to me. We found out that Matthew Mellon, the heir to the Mellon banking fortune, was a large holder of XRP, and he died, I believe, of a drug overdose. And the story went that he had XRP in cold storage all around the world. And to this day, we don't know what really became of it. And we also had R3 suing Ripple. That was a major story. They later settled. But to this day, we don't know what the option agreement with R3, we don't know if the settlement involved paying them out cash or XRP or giving them a new option to XRP. We don't know. But this was a lot of drama that we covered when it was going on. At the same time, in all of this time, in 2018-19, up pops this fictional character on Twitter that went by the name Bearable Guy. And he would release all of these cartoons and riddles and all these things for people to solve. And the term COMEX 589 came up in all of this. And it became a whole thing where people would try to decipher these. The digital asset investor did not really try to decipher them, but I was watching. And I thought it was interesting and to watch everybody decipher them and figure out what this person was. And everybody thought that somehow this person might be someone inside of Ripple trying to send a message out of what was really going on. Then we had an investor, which I'm suspicious of to this day, an investor sue Ripple, who later dropped the lawsuit, and he sued him over losing a few $100s and said, you had me buy a security or whatever. Then we had Brad Garlinghouse when they partnered with MoneyGram. Ripple partnered with MoneyGram, and at the time this was a game changer because they were literally going to use XRP, and that would have been a major game changer. And they did partner, and they did use XRP until the lawsuit dropped. We saw Brad Garlinghouse going and having meetings with the IMF. There he is right there, Christine Lagarde. We saw him on stage with the IMF General Counsel. We saw Brad Garlinghouse going to Switzerland and in the same room with a room full of central bankers. Then we saw Ashton Kutcher on Ellen DeGeneres giving away XRP to charity.
And so we found this very interesting tech company called Ripple that we're going to invest in, right?
Okay, what is Ripple?
So Ripple is basically a platform.
Now, we don't have to go any further into that, but we also saw Madonna doing a commercial about her charity and Ripple. I don't know if there's any copyright stuff there, so I'm not going to play it, but you'll see here she names Ripple by name, and she's in Africa, it looks like. We had Scooter Braun, who created a company called Raised in Space that was going to be building some type of thing around the music industry. He's the manager of Justin Bieber, and he was going to be working with Ripple through their Spring initiative. And then in December of 2020, we saw the SEC drop the lawsuit on Ripple. Now, folks, the places that we've gone, I never ever thought that we would go to those places. I had no idea when this lawsuit was dropped. In fact, this is a year after the lawsuit was dropped. But Brad Garlinghouse had tweeted when the lawsuit was dropped, which was December 22nd, 2020. And they had dropped the lawsuit, and I remember seeing that, and I had no idea that lawsuit would then take 2+ years to come to a resolution, and we're almost here. When that happened, I had no idea that would lead us down a path of discovering and looking into all the shenanigans that had gone on to slow Ripple down and to slow XRP adoption down. We discovered the Hinman speech. I remembered the speech when it happened, but I had no idea at the time of its significance until the lawsuit was dropped. I think that people in the XRP community went down a road that they had no idea that they would go down, and had no idea the skills that would be discovered in the XRP community of sleuths. And there was a moment where even Brad Garlinghouse mentioned that never to underestimate internet sleuths, and talking about what an impact they had on the case and the direction of the case. And then in comes John Deaton, a guy I did not know. I've come to know since that time, but he comes into this lawsuit, and before we knew it, he was working hand in hand with the XRP community to find things out and find what went on here. And he filed lawsuit on behalf of all these XRP holders. And then through all of that, at some point we discovered this video of Charles Gasparino in 2018, where he was covering the how he had met with some of the guys with Ethereum, behind Ethereum at Consensus, and how they said they were working with the SEC and the CFTC back in 2018 behind the scenes. And we just happened to find this, and that's what brought in Charles Gasparino and Eleanor Terrett and Fox Business. And since that time, I've even gotten to meet Eleanor Terrett. Had no idea where this journey would lead. And all of this came from my father, who's the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, telling me while I was mowing the yard one day, and I took a break, and I get on the phone with him, and he says, you know, I watch all these YouTube videos about all this crypto stuff at night, and you could do this too. You know as much about this as anybody. And that one idea is what set all this in motion and set me on this 4+ year journey that I've been on. And I've been on it with many of you, met a lot of nice people, made a lot of good friends, and it's been quite the wild ride. What a long, strange trip it has been. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family what a long, strange trip this has been, and it could be coming to an end soon.